We've had an issue with this Passat since it was put into the dealer about a year ago. It needed its intercooler replaced because it was built up with crud due to the exhaust gas recirculation issue that the Volkswagen has caused for themselves since the lawsuit years ago. But anyway, the fix to that was to recirculate more exhaust gas, which causes everything to get filthy and crudded up. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about what I just discovered as I check out the intercooler. So it was put into the dealer to have the intercooler replaced, and when we got it back, it went for a full cycle before the oil needed to be changed. When I went to change the oil in my daughter's car, I noticed zip ties, holding the intercooler in place. So the new intercooler had been held in with zip ties. So 2 hours later, the intercooler is out. It would have been a quick job all for this one hose that is halfway down the one side with a stupid type of clamp on it that you cannot get off. So I had to take a whole bunch of other things in order to get the intercooler out from the top, not the bottom. Got it 3/4 of the way out, managed to get the clamp off. Once that was off, it just drifted its own way down out through the bottom. Anyway, it'll go back in quickly and easily, but that's not the issue. So this car is one of two. My wife also has the exact same vehicle. It's a 2013 Passat TDI, and both have had the exact same problem, and both have had the problem fixed twice. So this is the air intake intercooler. Air comes out of the turbo roasting hot, and water is flowed over one side of this intercooler, and air is flowed over the other side. The intent, of course, is to cool the air charge down before it goes into the engine. Comes out of the turbo, goes into the bottom, comes out of the top. Maybe I have it upside down. Maybe it's the other way around. Either way, it doesn't matter. The problem is with Volkswagen's cure and the recirculation of more exhaust gas, the filth that goes into this intercooler is unbelievable. This intercooler's been replaced twice on my wife's car, once before on this car. It's now out of warranty, they both are. And this intercooler is 1 year old, and look at the filth inside there. How any air is flowing through that, I have no idea. And that is a greenish black sludge caused by condensation, oil in the air, exhaust gases in the air that circulates through it, and it creates this sludgy buildup. The channels between the fins on the intercooler are not very big, and the sludge, of course, completely blocks the airflow. So performance-wise, you get no airflow, so you stick your foot further down, which enriches the mixture, which causes all kinds of issues itself. But the engine then throws a check engine code because the air intake efficiency has dropped to the point where it's reporting it as a problem. When you put this into the dealer, they charge $2,500 for doing what I've done in the last 2 hours. They would have these special clamp pliers, which I don't have, which would make life a bit easier. But either way, it would be an hour out, an hour back in, and the intercooler itself costs $700. So they're making $600 an hour, and have engineered the problem themselves. So what I'm going to try and do is clean that out. I'm going to try diesel, because that would be very safe. I'm going to try gasoline. I'm going to try brake parts cleaner. Everything is aluminum. I'm going to take the sensor out of it so it doesn't destroy the tip of the sensor, and take these rubber hoses off it. and see if I can get it clean. So one of the errors was a reduced efficiency for the air intake, but it was also a implausible value from the air intake sensor. This is the air intake sensor, and that is the end of the air intake sensor. Do you think it would be giving a plausible value with all that crap? Amazing. But anyway, let's see what a cleanup can do. Oh, there you go. So that's what it's supposed to look like after it's cleaned up with some electrical parts cleaner. A little hot wire in there, I think, that as the air flows over it, it reads the cooling and therefore temperature and flow, and don't know how it calculates efficiency. It probably simply has another one of these at the other end and measures the differential temperature. But that looks good, that looks new. Now I've got to try and clean up the rest of this goop, if it's possible. 15 minutes later, I could not be happier with how easy and how clean this intercooler came. So as I said earlier, it's pure aluminum. I took all the rubber off, took the sensor out, flushed, started to spray with brake parts cleaner and realized how effective that was. Switched over to gasoline because I didn't have a huge volume of brake parts cleaner, and it is shiny new, brand spanking new. Took a good gallon to flow through it because I had to flow through it, slosh it around, leave it for 5 minutes, do it again. I had to do that about 10 times before I got clean gasoline out of the other end. But it is it's superb. I'm very happy with it. So that's going back in, and $2,500 of dealer BS avoided. I even asked the dealer, is there a way to clean these things out? And they screwed their faces up and said, oh, absolutely not. It's not possible. No one can do it. It isn't possible. Can't even send them away and get them cleaned out, I was told. It took $1 of gasoline to save a $700 part. Not to count the extra $1,400 to, $1,600 to install it. So it's going back in. So the only hard part of this job is that hose clamp that's right there. It comes, of course, with a factory clamp like this one here that has to have a special tool for removal, and you can't get your pliers across it in restricted spaces. So there's nothing wrong with those clamps in open spots. But down there, absolutely insane, and that's what made me have to take the oil intercooler off, plus the throttle body, just to be able to lift it up far enough and turn it around far enough to get a pair of pliers on. So a regular hose clamp fits perfectly well, and a flathead screwdriver can go into it from here. And yes, it misses the fan, so no need for all of that anguish. Absolutely silly if you ask me. But 30 minutes and I'm already halfway through the reinstallation. So I'll be done in just a little bit. Well, there you go, all back together, nice and clean. Took 1.5 hours to put it back together, including doing a few other little things, but it's purring like a kitten. Everything's good. Another $2,000 saved for a couple of hours work. It's funny how check engine light is now gone. Job is done and fixed the problem. Except now I have a bulb that's blown. Daytime running light bulb is out. But that'll be for another day, not right now.